Hi everybody, this is Abbie. Thanks so much for joining me. It's pouring down outside, so unfortunately I'm in the living room, but hey ho, that's England for you. Today I want to run through the kinds of things I would take on a day hike, and that is including little Bobby here. He always comes with me. But I just want to clarify what I'm talking about today as a day hike. So we're talking 8 hours or less, low level, so there's no mountains involved. We certainly haven't got any mountains here in the southwest. We've got cliffs, but no mountains. We're looking at no true wilderness, so I'm not going to walk into a forest and come out a month later. And there's no large predators, so I'm not likely to be threatened by bears or wolves or anything like that. So really simple, really easy. Mainly here in the southwest, it's like pastoral land or coastal, as I mentioned. So this is kind of the things that I would take, the typical stuff. So aside from Bobby, we'll have Penny, who's our Westie. She'll always be with us as well. But let's run through the bag. This is my Osprey Talon 33. So I've done a review on this before. I love this bag, it's very useful. I can also use it for an overnighter, but let's just empty it out and see what I've got in here. So starting with the top pocket, I've got a thermal bag. You've probably seen these before. I carry them especially if I'm on moorland, so here in the southwest we've got Exmoor, Dartmoor, and of course Bodmin Moor down in Cornwall. So I always carry these just as a backup if it gets really cold, like a snowstorm comes over. You know, you can use it to attract attention, and this weighs 180 grams. It costs like £3, so that's next to nothing. It's just a good backup, essential thing really. So I pretty much always have one of those or an emergency blanket. This is my deep heat rub. I mentioned in previous videos I have a long-term injury on my shoulder, so that just helps alleviate that. Most people wouldn't have this, but a notepad and pen. I'm not necessarily an artist, but I get inspired when I'm on the trail. All my ideas come from when I'm out walking. So I've always got a notepad and pen to jot them down with. Again, most people wouldn't have this. This is my homemade survival kit. Really big in my bushcraft. So it's kind of got waterproof matches, tinder, stuff like that in there. It's got thread for sewing. I don't know, I've used the thread before, but I just like it, so got that. And I've got a man-powered rechargeable torch. Especially in the winter, if you get caught out, it's kind of just good to have. It doesn't require batteries, so weighs nothing, why not? Then I've got a lighter, I'm not sure why that's in there, and then a 2+2 capsule. So this is always in either this bag or whatever bag I'm taking with me. It's just got some financial backup in there if I get caught short. I just never know. The idea is not to open it, but... So let's go to the underside here. This is a mesh pocket. Kind of getting a review at the same time, aren't you? So in here, I wouldn't always carry this, but if I am doing a 6 to 8 hour day and it is as remote as it can get here, then this is just a spare power thing for my phone. So if I need to call somebody, then I'll have this. Generally, my phone will be off, but it's just a good, why not, backup thing. It weighs nothing, so that's that. In here, I have got my head torch. Doesn't turn on because I flipped around the top battery, so it doesn't waste batteries when it's in my bag. This is the LED Lenser SEO3. So I know that there's at least the SEO 5 or 6 out now. But, I like this torch. It's very good. It's helped me survive on Kilimanjaro, so I wouldn't complain. Normally I'll have some spare batteries in there as well. But the idea of this, especially in the winter where your period of light is so short, it's just kind of a just-in-case measure. Most of the stuff is a just-in-case measure. Familiar theme. Then in the stretchy front pocket, I've got a hat and a buff. If it's really cold in the winter, I'll have some gloves as well. But if it rains and the temperature drops quite quickly, then I can put these on. Or if it snows or whatever, then I've just got those. Then I wouldn't always have this, but this is just the fitted waterproof cover for this bag. Generally, I keep my stuff in dry bags, but it's kind of because it gets blown away really easily. So if you're somewhere exposed, like the cliffs, it probably will get ripped off. But I just carry it just because it's light, and why not? Most of the stuff I could probably not carry, but it's just personalised and I like to carry it. So I mentioned dry bags. Here's a prime example. It's not been pressed down very much, but hey ho. So this is the yellow dry bag that always goes in this bag. In here I have got Ooh, a rather mashed up banana, and 2 cereal bars. So these, bar the banana, are high in calorie and very low weight. Generally, I'll carry something like trail mix or raisins as well for a day walk, about 8 hours. But I don't really eat much on the trail, especially if it is a day walk, because I know that I can eat more in the evening or have a bigger breakfast. So there's no point carrying extra weight of loads of food. So that's pretty much all I'll carry, plus trail mix or raisins for the day. Then I will be wearing a soft shell. If it's the summer, I'll wear a thinner one. If it's the winter, I'll wear a thicker one. But then I'll always have a fleece, or in this instance, a synthetic insulated jacket, just as another layer, especially if it gets windy. You just want to be as shielded from that as possible. And if it gets wet, common sense really, just a waterproof jacket. So this is the Mountain Equipment Morpheus jacket. Love this piece. Excuse me. It's a very good jacket. If it's really rainy, and I know it's going to be rainy throughout the day, I'll probably be wearing waterproof trousers as well. So that's the dry bag. That's pretty much it. Generally I'll have 2, or if it's the summer, 3 3/4 litre bottles. I like to take the kind of metal ones just because they're kind of hardcore and they keep your water cool. And I'm just not a fan of drinking out of plastic, because you just don't know how much plastic is kind of seeping into your water. So I kind of avoid that and just use the traditional metallic ones. Then a few other things I've always got on my bag. Front pocket here in the left, on the hip, got my compass. Of course I'll have a map as well, but in this instance I haven't got one. Didn't need one to get to my living room. And then this one, the left shoulder strap, got a little knife. It's just good for like sampling wild foods. So of course I only carry it where it's legal. Strict rules here in the UK. Then I've got lots of clips, which are just useful for tying things to your bag. So if I collect firewood, for example, on the way back, I can tie it up quite easily. And finally, a survival bracelet, which has a flint and steel on it, and of course a whistle, just because. So that's literally it. It's not complicated. It's completely personalised. Maybe you could take a few ideas from it. But that's literally everything I'll carry on a day hike. Give or take a few things depending on the season and the weather. But yeah, I mean, I hope maybe you have picked up a few new ideas or decided you really don't want to do that. But thank you so much for watching. And next week, I'm going to be looking at the kind of food I will be taking on a 5-day hike. So I'm going to look at kind of where I buy it from, the overall cost, and the overall calories. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you next Sunday.